We acknowledge that we are situated on the traditional territories of the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, Lunapiwa, and Adewandra nations. We value the significant historical and contemporary contributions of the local and regional First Nations, the indigenous urban population, as well as the original peoples of Turtle Island, which we call North America.
Welcome to our Maundy Thursday for First St. Andrews. Welcome. We light this candle in memory of and in thanksgiving for Jesus Christ, who on this night washed his disciples' feet after he had celebrated the Passover feast with them. He washed them as a sign of service, of Christian service in the world. From John's Gospel, chapter 13. Now before the festival of the Passover, Jesus knew that his hour had come to depart from this world and go to the Father. Having loved his own who were in the world, he loved them to the very end. The devil had already put into the heart of Judas, the son of Simon, to betray him. And during supper, Jesus, knowing that the Father had given all things into his hands, that he had come from God and that he was going to God, got up from the table, took off his outer robe, tied a towel around himself. Then he poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet, to wash and wipe them with the towel. He came to Simon Peter and said to him, "Lord, are you going to wash my feet?" Jesus answered, "You know not what you are answering, or what I am doing, but later on you will understand." Peter said to him, "You will never wash my feet." Jesus answered, "Unless I wash you, you have no share with me." Simon Peter said, "Lord, not my feet only, but also my hands and my head." Jesus said to him, "One who has bathed does not need to wash, except for his feet, but is entirely clean. And you are clean, though not all of you." For he knew who it was to betray him. And for this reason he said, "Not all of you are clean." After he had washed their feet, put on his robe, and returned to the table, he said to them, "Do you know what I have done to you? You call me teacher and Lord, and you are right, for that is what I am. So if I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you ought to also wash one another's feet. For I have set you an example that you should also do as I have done for you. Very truly I tell you, servants are not greater than their master, nor are messengers greater than the one who has sent them. If you know these things, you are blessed if you do them. I give you a new commandment, that you love one another, just as I have loved you. You also ought to love one another."
A reading from the Gospel of Luke, chapter 22. And he came out and went, as was his custom, to the Mount of Olives, and the disciples followed him. And when he came to the place, he said to them, "Pray that you may not enter into temptation." And he withdrew from them about a stone's throw, and knelt down and prayed, "Father, if you are willing, remove this cup from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but thine be done." And there appeared to him an angel from heaven, strengthening him. And being in agony, he prayed more earnestly, and his sweat became like great drops of blood falling down upon the ground. And when he rose from prayer, he came to the disciples and found them sleeping for sorrow. And he said to them, "Why do you sleep? Rise and pray that you may not enter into temptation." And the story continues with Luke. While he was still speaking, there came a crowd, and a man called Judas, one of the 12, was leading them. He drew near to Jesus to kiss him. But Jesus said to him, "Judas, why do you betray the Son of Man with a kiss?" And when those who were about him saw what would follow, they said, "Lord, shall we strike with the sword?" And one of them struck the slave of the high priest and cut off his right ear. But Jesus said, "No more of this." And he touched his ear and healed him. Then Jesus said to the chief priests and captains of the temple and elders who came out against him, "Have you come out as against a robber with swords and clubs? When I was with you day after day in the temple, you did not lay a hand on me. But this is your hour and the power of darkness." And they seized him and led him away, bringing him into the high priest's home.